In this video, I'm repressurizing the diaphragm in a reverse osmosis tank. If your RO faucet's barely trickling water, then this is the video that will show you the missing steps that will fix your system. Before I did this job myself, I watched a bunch of videos on this and they all missed one huge thing that just made me more confused. I've got an Apec system with a 4-gallon tank. My tank's pressure was 0. So it's no wonder that I could hardly get any pressure coming out. When you supply water to an RO system, the filters create a resistance to the water which slows the output to a trickle. Adding a tank to the system lets you collect water so that it's available when you need it. But that tank needs to be pressurized so that the water can be forced out of the faucet. To do that, the tank has a flexible diaphragm. The diaphragm separates the water in the tank from a pressurized air chamber. Over time, that pressure can leak out just like it does with car tires. When the tank pressure becomes too low, the filtered water flow will be reduced. Now, assuming that the diaphragm is not damaged, the air chamber can be repressurized to bring back a healthy flow. Let's look at the steps to do that. First, turn off the water, then open the faucet, check the pressure, and pump air into the Schrader valve. By the way, a Schrader valve is just the type of valve that you have on your car tires. But here's what they don't tell you. When you start pumping air in, water's going to drain out, and it takes time. The first thing to do is turn off the cold water. Under this sink, there's only one valve that turns off both the water to the sink and to the filter system. Next, you need to open the faucet so that all of the water drains out of the tank. In this next step, since I have an electronic pump, I can check the pressure while I add air to the system. I can also set a target pressure to add to the system, which is a real convenience. If you only have a manual bike pump, you may need a separate gauge that measures low pressure. So we're talking about a pressure of between 8 and 12 psi basically. In my case, I have an electronic pump that will stop by itself when it hits the target pressure. Another point is that some of the pumps don't go down to those kind of low pressures. So you have to make sure that the pump that you've got will be able to go that low. If you have a similar system to mine, the diaphragm has a pressure in the range of 8 to 12 psi. But follow the manufacturer's guidelines for your particular system. At this point, recorder stopped recording sound. Let me explain what's going on here. As I'm pumping up the pressure, the water that sat in the tank is being forced out, and then as that water's going out, then the pressure is reduced again. So that's why you see the top number is the actual pressure reading. It goes up and then it comes back down again. What I didn't realize is that you have to force out all of the water from the system to be able to set the base pressure of the diaphragm. Okay, well, it's been quite a while now, and it's still showing still showing a little pressure here. So I'm going to keep pumping this up until we can get all of the water out, until it stops. There is no supply. The supply is definitely turned off, and we're just going to go until all of the water is drained out. What you can hear is me catching some of this water so that we don't waste it. So what surprised me about this whole process was how long it actually takes. I was just wondering, am I doing the right thing? Because it seemed to be taking forever. But actually, you just have to keep doing this until all the water's out, and then finally, as you'll see, we can set the pressure again. We can might as well enjoy the water while it's draining out. All right, so I'm going to keep going with this. So what's happened right now is it's holding at 9 psi and the water is all drained out. So that is what we want. So everything's stopped, and then the next step will be to turn off the faucet above, which I'm going to do right now. I'm going to turn the water back on, and I'm just going to take this off. I actually think we're done here, so I'm going to put the cap back on. It's been a while now. This is a half-gallon jug, so what I want to do is just try this and see what kind of a flow rate we're going to get. Before, it would start out strong, and then long before this was filling up, it would just kind of fade out. Up to there is going to be a half-gallon. Well, that's actually pretty good. I would say that's quite acceptable. It looks like we've done the trick with pressurizing this tank.